Joined by the Hall of Famer in Lee Trevino, 6-time major champion on 365 Sports. Lee, thanks for your time. How's the babysitting going?
Listen, I just got home from the babysitting. They changed the day on me. Usually it's Tuesday. I was relaxing, and somebody said, "No, you got to go to days on Monday, so you're off Tuesday." I said, "Well, that's good because the course is closed, and then tomorrow I can put a good day in. I got some new clubs, some new putter. I'm working on some wedges. I'm 150 years old. My ball's going so short, I couldn't get a ticket in a school zone with the speed I got, Fred.
Oh,
pitiful.
God.
It's really pitiful, really pitiful.
So was your time at Augusta when you played there, I know you had a 10th place finish, and I always remember there were a couple of things. One, you hit kind of a cut. You hit the ball left to right, and it wasn't set up for that way. Was that your biggest problem? And I also think you didn't maybe like the way sometimes you might have been treated.
Well, I wasn't treated bad personally. My whole problem with Augusta was the dictator, the gentleman that ran it. He and I got into it the second year I went there over the ticket situation, and I couldn't get enough tickets for the family and whatever. So we kind of got on the wrong foot. And God, you got to understand, I'm a farm boy. I don't take a whole lot of whatever from anybody, and so. We didn't see eye to eye as far as the cut is concerned. No, hell, and as far as the golf course is concerned, no. I learned to play in a cow pasture over there off Bodecker. So don't tell me, it was the golf course. People make all that stuff up. I heard from J.C. Snead today, and he got in an argument with a guy on a tee the other day, and he said that. The reason I didn't like Augusta because I went there with my grandson and they wouldn't let me play. Grandson? Are you crazy? No such animal. And that's what happened. We got off on the wrong foot. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done because I could have won that golf tournament. I led twice after 36 holes, and it didn't make any difference about the fate. I didn't like it. But that's okay. All the holes went left just about, and all the greens slanted to the right with the fade, so the ball would run off the green a little bit, when I'd hit it in there. But it's a beautiful tournament. It's the best one there. I've been watching all the hoopla today already. Yeah.
What about playing in that particular major? Is there more tension in that one? Is it the same for all of them, or is it just there a mystique about the golf course?
Well, it's all about the history of it. It's all about Mr. Jones, which I think I did not see him. I have seen him hit some balls on film. I did not see Mr. Jones in person. I did meet him once, actually on the 14th tee after the par 5 there. And so just vaguely I met him. He was in a golf cart. He couldn't walk. His back was so bad. But what makes it so dramatic, I think, it started. He started building that course in about 1930. He finished it in 32. Had the first tournament in 34. Horton Smith won the first tournament and the third tournament. He won in 34, 36. Stairsman won the second one in 35. You remember he holed the 2-wood on 15 for a 2, a double eagle, and ended up winning the golf tournament. But no, I can't say that the fade wasn't the right thing there because Jimmy DeMeritt won the thing 2 or 3 times. Mr. DeMeritt from Houston, and hell, he cut it more than I did. Yeah, so it had nothing to do with that, not at all. I didn't feel comfortable there simply because of the words that the gentleman and I had, and I don't go too far with that simply because he's passed away, and there's no rebuttal. He can't say anything, so I just leave it at that. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you won 6 majors. 1971, you had that incredible stretch. You won the Open.
Yeah.
You won the Canadian Open. You won the Open Championship. Was that your best ever year?
Yeah, 1971 was the best one. As a matter of fact, we did a whole rundown on that thing because the prize money was like $100,000 a tournament. You'd win about $18,000 when you won a tournament. And then Jordan Spieth won 6 or 7 tournaments there one year. And so we put it together with he and I and what I would have won if I'd have been playing for his money. And I think we were about $40,000 apart, and he would have beaten me by $40,000, and it was over $11 million. Yeah, man, I could have retired young.
Yeah,
Hey.
no. Yeah. Now, who do you think, if you named, you got Jack, you have Trevino, Arnie, Gary Player, obviously then you have Tiger Woods. Is there anyone else that belongs in that group as far as Byron Nelson or whoever else, Bobby Jones, that built the game of golf?
Well, Mr. Nelson was a tremendous player, and he got, I guess, his claim to fame simply because he won 18 tournaments one year and 11 in a row. But he only won 5 majors. Yeah, and Mr. Hogan, I think, won 9, and Mr. Jones won 13, Nicholas 18. Tom Watson, you got to put him in there. Tom Watson won 8 or 9 majors, also a hell of a player. But no, that group that we had in that era, if you really look back at it, you take about 6 guys, and they ended up winning all the majors all those years for the whole decade. It was the same guys all the time, you know, and I don't know why. Well, I guess, you know, they had maybe talent. I don't know how you any other way you can put it, but tremendous amount of players. Also, you have to understand that we worked harder, I think, than most guys did. The conditions were a little bit different. We didn't play for as much money, so we had to have almost a second job. So we had to play a lot of golf. We had to play a lot of tournaments. We didn't skip tournaments. We played all of them. And the reason for it, I mean, I won 7 tournaments, I think, in 1971 with the 3 majors included in that. And I think I was leading money winner, and I think I won $173,000. That's all I won. Because at the time it was only, I mean, I won 2 British Opens and lost money.
Oh, because of the travel and stuff, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, uh-huh.
Lee Trevino, 6-time major champion, Hall of Famer, with us on 365 Sports, the week of the Masters.
Lee, so when you see a golfer that doesn't play and he's healthy and he decides I'm going to skip 5 tournaments in a row, does that still even kind of blow your mind?
Well, he wouldn't be able to make it farming because, man, when it's time to harvest, you got to do it. You understand what I'm saying? I was led to believe when that tomato's turning red, you better pick it and eat it or it's going to spoil. And in my opinion, it's the same thing. If you lay off playing competitive golf for 5 weeks, you lose your edge, and no question about it. You know, it's that, oh, I'm getting some of the rust off. Well, that rust should have never been on there. You should have been gargling with WD-40 or something. But this is what you do today. They're playing for so much money, and God bless them. They're entitled to it. I think it's time for them to make the money that the other athletes make in other sports. And they don't have to work as hard now. They just have to be awfully good. And I don't think there's nobody better right now than Scotty Scheffler. That Highland Park boy can roll it, boy. He can play. Yeah.
You know, he seems to be so calm. And I know some can be more demonstrative, but he seems to always be in control of himself. Not to mention he's just a very talented golfer.
Well, he's got Randy Smith there that trained him. I remember when he was coming out to Royal Oaks and he was 7 or 8 years old, he wanted to putt for quarters, and I didn't want to putt with him because I didn't want him to grow up and say he beat me putting. But this is what he wanted. I mean, he had a dream, and he's fulfilling it. I remember when he played junior tournaments, he always wore long pants simply because he said that pros don't wear shorts, and this is what he did. I love the way that he plays. He's a 6'4" guy. He plays. He's more of a pendulum guy because he stands closer to the ball because he's so much taller. So he slides that right foot back, and that's a good thing. Norman did that. Billy Casper did that. And what I mean by a good thing is he never goes over the top. It's simply because when he slides the right foot back, the hands come closer into the hip. So he comes from the inside. And that's why he's so accurate with the irons, especially the short irons. I really like his action. The only way that he would ever go wrong is if he quits. It's the only way because it's solid. It's solid. Randy Smith has done a hell of a job with him. Yeah.
Lee, the live guys have been playing 54 holes. It's a different kind of thing that they're doing, and they're going to step in here and play in these majors. Do you think that will hurt them in the long run? I mean, these guys are, big-time golfers, but still, I mean, you kind of get used to one thing, and then all of a sudden you're now stepping onto Augusta National and have to play a whole nother round of golf that you haven't done in a couple years.
No, it doesn't make any difference. You got to look at it. It's like track. It doesn't make any difference where you run, as long as you run and your time's good, so you can compete with anybody. I don't think it's going to hurt them one little bit. I think the pressure is actually on the tour guys, simply because they certainly don't want one of the guys from Live to win Augusta. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Saudis didn't put up a big bonus if somebody did win. And I'll tell you something, they better be careful with Brooks Koepka, because Brooks is healthy.
Yep.
He hasn't been healthy in 3 years, and I was watching his interview yesterday, and he said, this is fun. And he won 2 of those in the last 3 tournaments. He's won 2 of them. So he's playing extremely well. He will be really dangerous at Augusta. Golf is a gentleman's game, and they will find a way to socialize with each other and play, and it'll be just fine. Just fine. Golf is a hell of a game. Great game. Yeah. And you know what? This is not a fist fight. It's not a contact sport. It's a numbers sport. So, it doesn't make difference where you play everything. Now, I did see one thing, that the Live doesn't play the best courses. So it might be a little bit of an advantage for the Live guy, because he's had to scrape it around a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to get on a pool table. It's much easier for him. Much easier for him. Yeah.
Lee, last year, Tiger made the cut, and then, of course, it didn't finish well, but he hadn't played in almost 2 years prior to that, and he made the cut. That was a big story. He's played at Riviera. He's not going to play much. What are your expectations of him this weekend in Augusta?
Well, he'll do the same thing. He'll play extremely well on the first 2, but fatigue has got to set in on him. He's 47 years old, and his right leg is I'm sure it's not 100%. I have no clue. Circulation, I think, is the whole problem with it, and he's got a team that works with him after he finishes. But that is a very difficult golf course to walk. It's on the side of a hill, and it's never level. You don't walk level ever. And I think he'll make the cut, but I think he'll probably end up doing the same thing that he did last year. He'll get a little tired, and that's it. When you haven't played in 7 weeks, you certainly haven't been walking all 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the days you go out there and jump in a golf cart, you know what I'm saying, and play a quick 9. It's not the same thing as walking. And if you're playing in Florida, it's flat. And so you're not walking up hills, side hills, down hills. That's a different strain on the ligaments and the muscles. Yeah.
And there's never a flat lie, is there?
No, it's a beautiful lie, because the golf course is in magnificent condition. But it's very seldom you're going to have a flat lie on the driving range. Yeah, that's the only. Yeah, they should put humps and bumps all over the tee on the driving range so you can practice off of it.
What was your first impression? I know the first time I was able to go, and it's awe-inspiring, and TV doesn't do it justice, no matter how much the cameras have gotten better and all the way the flat screens are better. Yeah. Can you try to describe the first time you walked that course or went to a practice round or whatever it was, and how gorgeous it was?
Yeah, when I walked on it the first time, I knew that I was at a disadvantage because there was no rough. And I said, man, I'm dead here. I did, because I hit the ball straight. I need a foot rough so I can take care of the big boys. You understand what I'm saying? That was number one when I walked on it. The other thing I looked at, too, is I said, oh, my God, you can land a 747 in these fairways. Now, they've tightened it up since I played there. They put some more trees in. But it was wide open, and there was no rough. Now, there's a reason for that, and I'll explain it to you what the reason is. Mr. Jones, when he built that golf course, wanted the best player to win the tournament. He didn't want luck to be involved. When you play a golf course that's narrow fairways, tall rough, and a guy hits the ball over in the gallery, he's got a perfect lie, and I missed the fairway by 2 yards, and it's unplayable. See, Mr. Jones thought that was unfair. So what he did, he says, I want a golf course with no rough. I don't want any tall grass anywhere. I want the best chipper to win, the best driver to win, the best iron player to win, the best putter to win. He has to have that combination. There's not going to be any luck involved on a lie, and I had a bad lie, and I got this, and I got that. And that's what Mr. Jones wanted. And I think it's very unique. I think it's great.
You know, there's a reason Tiger probably hasn't won more majors. We know the number of wins, tied for the most with Sam Snead. We know the majors that 15, Nicklaus has the 18. But what was your thought about why they Tiger-proofed Augusta National? Because they didn't do that for anyone else that I remember. Do you think that may have cost him another Masters or a green jacket or two?
No, it could have. It could have. You never know. You know, you can speculate all you want. But you know, you still got to beat all the players. It doesn't make any difference who you're playing against. You still got to play them. And everybody talks about, well, that wasn't a strong field. It doesn't make any difference. What did I shoot? And, you know, the weather has a lot to do with it. Now, they may have a picnic with this tournament this year because they're saying that it's going to rain Thursday and Friday. When they can't control the water to Augusta, it's not a very hard golf course. It's when they control the water to it. The USGA does that in the U.S. Open. If you can control the water to a golf course, you can make it as hard as you want to, because all you do is don't water the greens, make them hard as a brick, and that's it. You're dead. So also when the fairways are really hard, and if you fade the ball a little bit, the ball will keep running and go in the trees or go in the pine needles. If you hook it, same thing on the other side. So it's supposed to rain Thursday, supposed to rain Friday, and if the wind doesn't blow, it's going to be soft Saturday and Sunday. So if it does rain, look for a very low score.
Yeah, that's like playing almost like throwing darts at the greens, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that it's very difficult to get the greens fast, even though you're double cutting them, because I'm going to tell you something that you never thought of. That mower is heavy, and it has a roller in front of the blade. And when the roller goes over the grass, if it's soft, it'll push it down. And by the time the blade gets to that grass, it hasn't popped back up yet. So it's not going to be fast. Now, when that green is hard as a brick, and that roller goes over the grass, it doesn't push it down. So when the blade comes in, it scalps it. You never heard of that one, have you?
No, I hadn't thought about that. I know that they have these like whatever's underneath the greens that allows them to soak some of that water out, but that's not enough to where when it rains to be able to affect it.
No, that's sub-air. That's sub-air. Yeah, they got a sub-air, they call it. Yeah, they'll pull it out of there. But like I said, they cannot if they can't control the water, it'll probably be 16, 17, 18 under, maybe even 20. They got to be able to control it. The wind has a lot to do with it also because it's on the side of a mountain, this golf course, and the wind really swirls a lot. Now, they put 30 yards on 13. Not going to make any difference. They can make the hole easier. They made the hole easier because now they can't reach the trees down the fairway. You see what I'm saying? They didn't think of that. They spent $25 million for a piece of property, and they made the hole easier. That course only has 12 fairway bunkers.
Let me see. Well, one of them's I've been fortunate again. I know one has got the one on the right hand side. Not one on two, not one on three. Yeah.
No, two's got one on the right. Three's got one on the left.
Oh, it's got one on the top right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got 12. If you can count them, it's got 12 fairway bunkers.
To me, one of the most underrated hard course holes, although it seemed like, I guess I'm wrong, is number 5. It got that big, huge, massive bunker on the left-hand side.
Yeah, you can't get to the green out of it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And you got to watch you don't hit that ball. You got to draw that ball out there and hit 3-wood, because if you hit it straight and hit it and push it a little bit, it'll go out of bounds.
Yeah,
and that green It looks like it's been out on a preschool yard for a long time, because it's humpy bumpy, baby.
Got elephants buried in it. Yeah. Have you
they
ever?
got a lot of ex-members buried under there or something. I don't know.
There's the. Or people,
Well, look,
or people
if
who disobeyed.
If you're gonna pick a spot,
Yeah, I mean, that's back near
if you
gate
got
number
that
8.
kind of juice.
Yeah. Lee, have you
It
ever?
wouldn't-
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it wouldn't be bad. Maybe a lot of ashes. A lot of ashes on that green.
Have you ever been invited to hit that opening ceremonial shot?
Oh no! You have to win the tournament. You have to be.
That's right.
winner.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
No,
Okay.
you have to be a winner. Yeah,
Oh.
they got Jack. They got this year. They got Jack Watson and Gary. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
8:00. Hey, don't miss it. 8:00. I think it is Thursday morning.
All right. Hey, we like the shirts. You've ordered shirts. Is that correct? We want to always mention your website that people can get merchandise from.
Yeah,
from
we
Lake
get 'em- we
Trevino.
get them the third week in April. I'm getting all the shorts and the shirts, and I got T-shirts and stuff now. But it's a big deal. The shirt. I tell you what. My son brought me 6 of them the other day, and they're gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Tell everybody
Yeah,
the
you
link
gotta
to get
see it.
on there.
Love you, my man.
What's the link name again for people to purchase your merchandise?
SuperMexGolf.com.
Supermex Golf. Lee Trevino, thank you, man. We appreciate you. Love you too. Lee
Love you,
Trevino,
man. Love you.
6-time
Bye.
major champion. Went to go babysit today. It was not today, so he couldn't play golf anyway. So he'll be ready to lock it in and get on the golf course with the new clubs tomorrow. I love this person.